All right, Kamara,
Can we do,
just show me the problem, it's easier.
I don't know if we can.
Well, we did ones like this, but we can do them again. The question says, domain range and asymptotes. Okay, so who remembers when we did this the other day? It wasn't these exact equations, but it's ones like them. Who remembers where we start? What do we have to have in our mind first? Braden? Yeah, what does it look like? What are we even talking about here? So a logarithm, the basic logarithm looks like this. So what is this equation doing now to that picture? What is it doing? It's picking it up and moving it right one. So that asymptote, instead of being at 0, is now going to be at 1. And the intercept, instead of being at 1, is now going to be at 2. So if you have to draw a picture, there it is. There's the picture. What's the domain of that? What are the x's for this particular picture? 1 to infinity. What is the range? All the numbers, negative infinity to infinity. And obviously I've already labeled my asymptote is x equals 1 for that one. Okay, Kamara? Now, this one is the exponential. So that kind of baseline picture has an asymptote of 0 and a y-intercept of 1. It looks like this. That's your exponential. What have we done to it? Up 2. So that means the asymptote is now at 2, as it was at 0. And the intercept is at 3. And it looks like that. So if you have to graph it, there it is. What is the domain of this one? Domain. All reals. What is the range of this one? 2 up. And obviously the asymptote's at y equals 2. Okie dokie smoky. All right, who else had a hand up? Jake?
Yeah, you would have to see it.
That's probably easier.
Says on.
All right. And this one is a calculator problem. So it has a little star next to it. So this is a calculator situation. And here is the given. It says the log base x of 5 is 0.123. The log base x of 2 is 0.012. And the problem is, find the log base x of the cube root of 25x squared. Okay, so the top 2 pieces are the given. And then I am going to somehow figure this out. We did one of these the other day. These are the ones that are a little tricky. What do we want to do first? No, blow this up. That's what you gotta do. You gotta take care of business here. So, what are you gonna do with the cube root? Make it an exponent. So this is the log base x of 25x squared to the 1/3. Not to the third, it's a cube root. Roots are fractional exponents, right? There's a couple ways you can proceed here. But when you have a log of something to a power,
Bring the 1/3 out.
you can bring the 1/3 out. So you have 1/3 log 25x squared. Now we need to break this completely apart. So, do you see a multiplication right here?
5x.
So we're gonna pull that apart and make it an addition. So we're gonna have 1/3 log 25 plus log x squared.
Okay.
Remember, when numbers are multiplied, their logarithms are added. We most often go the other direction. So usually we're taking something that looks like this and combining it. But this time we're pulling it apart. Now, what about this guy right here? You should know what that is.
2.
That's 2. No need to worry about that anymore. That's 2. What about this though? What do you know about 25? It's 5 squared. So we can think of that as the log base x of 5 squared, and then what happens to the 2, but not all the way out in front. It only comes out in front of its logarithm, right? The 1/3 is out in front of the whole thing, but the 2 is only in front of the x. Now, do I know this number? Yes, I do.
1, 2, 3 times
So
2.
1/3 times 2 times 0.123 plus 2. So I can just type that in my calculator and get an answer.
If you put it all out, if you did like 1/3 in parentheses and had log x to the 5th, or 5 and log x5 plus log x squared, is that alright?
Yep, because then you're adding, I'm multiplying 2 times 0.123, you're adding it twice. Yep. So that's just gonna be a number, and then that would be the answer to the question. So I don't know if I did it right, I got 0.7487.
Yeah.
All right, so what did I have to do? Before I could do anything else, I had to break this thing up into as small a pieces as I could. And then some of those pieces are in the given, and some of them you just have to know. All right, who else? Good. Who else? That's a question. Warren? E, H. The relationship between, okay, this is a little word problem. And I think it's straight out of our notes. I think I've seen this before. It says, here's the equation. Log I over 12 equals negative 0.0215.0125x. I is the intensity of light, and x is the depth of the water. So we're looking down in the water, and we want to know what is I if x is 40. It has its, well, these are circled. So this is a calculator problem. All right, so what am I going to do? They give me the equation right here. They tell me what i's and x's stand for. And then the question is, what is the intensity if x is 40? What do you think I'm going to do? Plug in 40. So the log of I over 12 equals, I'm going to plug in 40. So negative 0.0125 times 40. Is that negative 0.5?
Yeah.
Well, that was nice. Now, guys, what do you always do when you have a log equal to a number? That's a loop-de-loop. That's it. There's no other choices. That's a loop-de-loop. So when you have log equals number, we're going to loop-de-loop. Now, when I loop-de-loop, I start with the base. I don't have a base. Or do I have a base? It's 10. So 10 to the negative 0.5 equals I over 12. So I'll type 10 raised to the negative 0.5 and then multiply that by 12. And the intensity is, if I did that right, 3.795. Does that make sense, Lauren? Yep. All right. Who else? Katie?
Is another one like the one we just did? Chip numbers.
Which one?
15.
15. 15 says, this is on a different sheet. It's on the review number 2. I don't know. I gotta do a better, I gotta figure this out, but anyway. Here's the given. And here's the task. All right? So we just did one of these. What did I tell you we're going to want to do before I should begin?
Well, I have a question
Uh-huh.
first. So, technically, couldn't you just do the loop-de-loop for both of those and plug both those answers in to see which one works, or is that, like, not allowed?
Plug,
Like, if the
what
top
would you
one's
plug .2121 in for?
the X, like, over X.
Okay, up here it would say x to that power equals 5.
Yeah.
Okay,
That
I'm
works.
still not sure what you're saying to me. So what are you gonna,
Like, if you did, like, the loop-de-loop on that, cause it's the log of something equals something.
okay, so this does say x to the .2121 equals 5. The problem is, these are made up numbers,
Oh, so it
and so
could
when
just
you
be-
try to make them work in your calculator or whatever, it's not gonna work,
Okay,
because I made them up,
okay.
okay? I see what you're saying now, yeah. All right, let's blow this up. So what are you gonna do with that?
You can get 3 on the outside first.
Oh, whoa, whoa.
You can't do that.
Does that 3 go on the outside?
No.
That 3 only goes with the x this time. If it were out here, then I would put it out, but I'm not going to. First thing I'm gonna do is split this and make it log 20 plus log x cubed. Does that make sense to you? And then of course this one is just 3, so I'm done with that one. And now I gotta mess around with 20.
You can get a 5 and 2 twos.
So he says factor this down. So 20 is 2 times 2 times 5. So since those are times, I'll have the log of 2 plus the log of 2 plus the log of 5. Does that make sense to you? Now some of you may have used 4, which is 2 squared. So you might have this written as 2 log 2's. Is that the same thing? Yeah, so it doesn't matter, however you thought about it. It broke it down into its prime factors. So 2, 2, 5. And then that's your answer. So it's just that number plus that number plus that number plus 3. Got it, Katie?
Yep,
Yeah,
thank
you
you.
wanna break that down and watch those exponents.
So would we actually add those up?
Yep, actually add those up and get a number. Your answer's gonna be some decimal. All right, who else? Lauren,
It's like a FD or.
which one? Number 21? If your credit card balance is this and your interest rate is this, what must your monthly payment be to pay it off in 4 years? So this is, first of all, which formula? If I'm paying off my credit card bill in monthly payments, which formula? PV. So I'm gonna write PV up here. Okay, and now here's what I know. My credit card balance is 1, 2, 3, 4. I need my payment. My interest rate is 18.49%. So I'll put 0.1849 divided by 12 monthly payments. And I wanna pay this off in 4 years. So if I wanna pay it off in 4 years, how many payments am I making total?
48.
Negative 48 right here. Alright? So we're not gonna be frightened by this, we're not intimidated by it, they're just numbers. The idea is 1234 equals something times that. So I'm just gonna find this, divide 1234 by it, and that will be my answer, right? Right, so here we go, I'm gonna type that in, I like to type the numerator first. 1 minus parentheses 1 plus 0.1849 divided by 12, close parentheses, raised to the negative 48 equals. Anybody else type in the top? I got 0.5199.
Yeah.
Then I'm gonna divide that by parentheses, 0.1849 divided by 12. I got 33 point something. So this is like 33. To get R by itself, we're gonna take this divided by that. So 1, 2, 3, 4 divided by second answer. Looks like my payments are $36.57.
I didn't get that. So I don't know what I did.
Let me see your calculator. You put in your interest rate loan. Okay, all right. Who else? This is the shortest period of the day, unfortunately, so we gotta hurry. Who else has a question about something that will be on tomorrow's test? Meg?
Are we allowed to like ask questions from like homework that we got?
Oh,
wrong?
yeah, totally.
Okay,
Which homework is it?
number 4 on 3.6, I was really lost.
3.6,
Number 4, the one
number
on
4. Okay. All right, your goal is to have $1 million. Okay, wait a minute, what formula is this gonna be? This is gonna be FD, so I need FD up here. All right, so FD is this. Okay. All right, so that's the formula I need for homework problem number 4. Your goal is to have $1 million. You make monthly deposits. The account pays 0.045. How long will it take you? Well, so T is my unknown.
Yeah.
How many years will it take me? Well, I don't know, but if I'm making 12 payments a year, won't this exponent be 12T?
Yeah.
And then this. All right, now, let's just talk about this big picture first. Well, what's the very first thing you're probably gonna do? Divide 93 through 23. So we'll get that number out of there. Okay, so now we've got this. Now think about what you are trying to do. You are trying to get this by itself, this guy right here, so that you can log it and get that 12T down. That's how we solve for an exponent. We use logarithms. But I do not wanna log this disastrous mess. I wanna get this by itself, okay? So do not be intimidated, you have a calculator, these are just numbers. This is what I wanna get by itself. So what am I probably gonna do first? Multiply by this, right? So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm just gonna kinda do it as I talk here. So I'm gonna take 1,000,000 divided by 323, and then I'm gonna multiply it by 0.045 divided by 12. So this number is now over here. So I have like 11.6 something equal to this now, Meg. So what's the next thing I'm going to do? If I'm trying to get this by itself, I'll add 1 to it. So now I have, I'm letting my calculator just work as I go along. Now I have 12.6 whatever equal to 1 plus 0.045 over 12 to the 12th here. Are you with me, Meg?
Yeah.
I've done as much as I can do now without getting that exponent out of there. So I'm now going to log both sides. So the log of whatever number's in my calculator equals 12t log 1 plus 0.045 divided by 12. Are you still with me? We're running out of time here. Okay. Now, remember, this is what I am trying to get by itself. Right here. To make that happen, I'm going to have to divide by 12, and I'm going to have to divide by this larger number. Agreed? So that's what I'm going to do. So right now, I'm going to take log answer, so log second answer, so I've logged that. I'm going to divide it by 12, that got rid of this, and then I'm going to divide it by log 1 plus 0.045 divided by 12. I got 56.43.
That's what I got.
That's what I got.
That's the right answer. Okay? So this is a perfect example of something that looks completely overwhelming, but when you start looking at it piece by piece, easy. We have time for one more. One more. One more thing. All right, anybody who does extended time has got that form filled out? 56.43. All right, I did publish the answers in the homework in school again. So if you missed something that we didn't have time to get to, you can look back at my homework answers. Extended time forms are all filled out. Okay, so what's your I mean, I don't know what you have in mind. You know the 7.5.